What's up guys? Today I'm gonna talk about what makes a game good. So right now I'm making this maze game right here, and my goal for this game is to make this game go viral. I want all streamers and VTubers to play this game. But how can I do this? It looks impossible, right? So that's what we're gonna talk about in this video. And if you think this game cannot go viral, then press the like button right now. And if you think it can go viral, then subscribe. So let's talk first of all about emotion. So in my opinion, what makes a game really good is emotion. So with emotion, I don't mean oh, the game is so sad or something like this. There are certain games like this, but this is not my definition of emotion. So when I say emotion, what I mean is positive emotion. So the whole reason why people play games in the first place is for positive emotion, right? Is to have fun. And what fun is basically a positive emotion. And when you have a good game, what this game can do, it can maintain and create positive emotion all the time. And this is basically true about almost everything. Like if you have a good movie, this movie can create positive emotion in every scene. If you have a good manga, this manga can create positive emotion in every panel, in every picture. And this also creates replayability or rewatchability. Like you probably have a movie that you like very much that you can rewatch again and again. And the reason why you can rewatch it, because every time you rewatch it, it creates the same positive emotion in you. No matter how many times you rewatch it, something like for example Iron Man, you can rewatch this movie again and again and it still creates the same positive emotion in you. So in the gaming world, one of the games that can do that very reliably is Skyrim. So Skyrim can create positive emotion in almost every second of the game. The way it does this is by a couple things. For example, all the landscapes, the visuals always look very good. You don't find a single outside moment inside Skyrim that doesn't look good. Like the sky, the night sky, the aurora, the nature, everything always looks good. And the gameplay is always fun. Like the game is set up so that it's always kind of challenging. If you go into a dungeon, there's always something to grab, always a chest somewhere or an enemy to loot. So you can see every second you have something to do. And it's set up so on purpose to create this positive emotion at every second. So if I make my maze game, how can I create this emotion? So the idea here is when you play a maze game, it can get pretty boring, right? If you have did a maze and you struggle to find how to get to the exit, it can be pretty boring, right? So one of the ways you can actually make a maze game fun is by putting things inside this maze game. This might be items that the player can pick up, in Skyrim. Might be enemies that you have to fight. Might be turning it into a horror game where you have constant thrill and fear. So you can see these are the ways how I can make my maze game actually have emotion, positive emotion every second. Basically try to copy Skyrim, try to copy other good games and make every single second have positive emotion. And this creates replayability and this makes the game good. So next, let's talk about how you can create this positive emotion. So there's three things how I think you can actually create positive emotion. And these are just my own opinions. And these are the things I think you can create the most easiest in people to create positive emotion. So the first thing is visuals. We already talked about this in Skyrim, but there's also a couple other games. If a game just visually looks good, you want to play it. If you just walk around in the world and everything looks nice, or the aesthetic is very nice, you just want to play the game. So the way I can do this in my maze game is by the idea that I want to make it pixel art and kind of horror pixel art with some anime visuals. I think this can go pretty well. It can basically become an aesthetic, kind of Papers, Please, something like this, just with anime. And then the next thing, how you can actually create emotion inside people, is by thrill and horror. So we already spoke about this before, but thrill and horror is one of the easiest way how you can actually create positive emotion inside people. And the reason why a lot of indie developers make horror games is because horror is one of the easiest way how you can make this emotion. So horror works by creating thrill, by creating fear inside people, and when they play the game they have a constant level of fear, and they have this basically constant positive emotion. And it's a positive emotion because it's not like a real fear, it's more like a having fun fear, right? A good example of this is something like Subnautica, where you like go into the depths and everything is dark and you don't know what type of giant fish will come and eat you, and you have this constant fear and this constant thrill of being attacked at any time, and you also don't have any weapons, right? So you cannot really defend yourself, so you're always like vulnerable, you're always like fearful, and this creates this constant positive emotion inside you. So another thing how you can create positive emotion quite easily inside people is by having a romantic interest. It's basically like if you're like a guy and you want guy followers, you can just like put a sexy anime girl inside your game and basically sexualize her, and this is one way how you can basically pretty easily like keep people interested. Like it sounds stupid, right? But it actually works. Like a lot of games, especially here in Japan, do this. Like they just put a hot anime character in their game and automatically people want to play it because they like kind of form a romantic interest. And the opposite also works. Like if you want a female audience, you can just like put like hot anime guys into your game and heavily sexualize them. And a lot of games here in Japan also do this. Like a lot of like mobile games, they always like, it's not just a mobile game, it's also like mobile game plus like I don't know, handsome vampire anime guy or something like this. And with my maze game I also want to do this. Like I said, I don't just want to make a maze game. I also want to include like some anime characters and heavily like sexualize them, and this will keep people interested. Of course, there's also other ways how you can create emotion. Like for example, Subnautica or Minecraft works heavily on being creative, but being creative is much more harder to create. I think the three things I talked about are much more easier to create, and most indie games work with these three things: visuals, horror, and romantic interests. So next, let's talk about how you can actually keep the emotion inside people. So there's three things also. So the first thing is like unexpected events. So if you make a game that is able to create positive emotions in people, this is already good. But eventually with everything in life, this positive emotion becomes more boring and boring as you move along, right? So for example, like if you have a horror game and there's an enemy and this enemy comes again and again and again and it's always the same enemy, eventually it becomes boring and no longer like scary, right? So you always have to give your player some unexpected events that can happen at any time. Like for example in Subnautica, it's like you don't know how many fish are out there, right? So you might have encountered a big fish and it scared you, and then you go even deeper and you encounter an even bigger fish, and this always like keeps you like not really knowing what's out there. So there could be anything out there and you don't really know what's out there, and this always keeps like this unexpected events alive, this constant like fear of what could be out there. So I think that's very important to never reuse the same enemy, to always like keep the player like guessing what's gonna come next. Then the next thing is wonder. So wonder is basically like if the player looks at something, looks like a distant horizon, and they wonder what's out there. A good example of this is Skyrim. Like you climb up a mountain and then you see like, oh, what is this city? What is this? Where does this river lead to? What is like this like a place here with the trees or something? You just look at stuff and you wonder what's there and you want to explore it. And this actually keeps you playing the game because it keeps the emotion high, because you always wonder what's there, what's next. So this is also a very important thing you need to have in your games. Always keep the player wondering what's next. So this kind of ties into the unexpected events, but it's kind of different also because the unexpected events has more to do with the enemies. And the wonder has to do more with the world building. And then another thing how you can keep emotion is by gradually going deeper. So what I mean by this is like, think about some Subnautica, how you start like very shallow and very light. Like the whole like sea here is very light, you can see everything. And then gradually you go deeper and deeper and it gets darker and darker. So the way I can do this in my game, in my maze game, is by, for example, having something like a torch. And this torch only like burns for 10 minutes. And in these 10 minutes, the torch goes darker and darker until eventually you see nothing any longer. And this like recreates this Subnautica going deeper effect, where the more you go into the maze, the less you see and the more scary it's gonna become. And by gradually increasing something, you also can keep the player hooked, because as you keep on playing the game, it becomes scarier and scarier, rather than more boring. So let's actually finally talk about my maze game idea. So what is my idea for the game? Keep in mind this is still like just an idea. I don't know if I'm really gonna decide for this idea. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I put some anime characters in it, maybe a sexy demon lord woman or some handsome anime guy. I think this can actually keep this can make people play the game, because imagine the advertisement is all anime and stuff, and it's all heavily sexualized. I think this can actually make people want to play the game. And then the next thing, we talked about it before, I want to include a torch that only burns for 10 minutes. So the more you go into the maze, the darker it's gonna become as your torch slowly goes out. And if it's all the way out, the maze is completely black and you only hear sounds, you only hear the monsters. And then also the monsters should come in various sizes, like in Subnautica. Imagine a super large monster that towers the maze 20 meters above the maze, kind of like the Cloverfield monster, you know. Imagine playing a maze game and then all of a sudden there's a Cloverfield monster coming at you or something like this. I think this could be fun. So that's basically my game idea, and it's my ideas how to make good games. So that's basically the idea for my game. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and let me know what you think makes a good game a good game. But that's basically the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye.